Another one complaining about matchmaking. 3.4 hours and he's calling the game dead. How can you possibly know the game's dead when you played 3.4 hours? That's literally like the tutorial and maybe 5 or 6 games.
Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Inter, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reading some bad Smite Steam reviews. The community seems to have a lot to say about Smite, you know, some people love it, some people hate it, some people love it and hate it at the same time. So I thought I'd read some negative Smite reviews on Steam and see what problems people have with the game, see if there are any kind of legit problems or if it's people just complaining about pointless stuff, which some of them will be. So let's get into this. Since when anime characters are gods, don't play this game. The gods themselves aren't anime characters, but the skins are. I can see where he's coming from, but once again, it's a skin. You don't have to use skins. It's not that big of a deal, bro. Adjusted the regional price to threefold from 163 to 462, which is ridiculous and honestly agitating. Regional pricing is given to players... Okay, so he's gone on a bit of a rant here about regional pricing. If they did genuinely increase the price of gems 3x in his region, I can see why he's complaining about that. He has a lot of hours on record, so I believe him. Can't even play without someone disconnecting on the loading screen. I personally don't have issues with this, but I've heard a lot of people who do have issues with this, where they get disconnects and rage quits all the time. I don't seem to get them quite as much, but that has been a problem. And this guy's only played for 50 hours, so generally I think the less time you played the game, you're going to get people who have also not played the game that much, and they tend to have less invested in the game and will rage quit or disconnect with more nonchalantness than just, you know, someone who actually has a lot of hours in the game and cares about it. This game isn't even worth playing and it's free, not to mention the scam of a shop. Almost 80% of the skins aren't worth paying the price they have for it. I highly advise anyone play League of Legends rather than this godforsaken trash. Godforsaken, I see where you're coming from, Mr. Goku. And I can't even explain how bad some of the players are. It's like they purposely match you with people they know are going to feed, then they try to act like they aren't playing seriously or try to blame it on other people. It's actual insanity. 80% of the skins aren't worth the price, then don't buy them. You don't have to buy skins in Smite. I never understood this. Like, people complain so much about, like, skin pricing or the way you buy skins. You don't have to buy skins. Like, legit, you can play the entire game without ever having to buy a single skin. You might get a few skins for free or something like that, but you never have to put any money down on the game. Really. You know, honestly, the only money you really might want to put down on Smite is for the God Pack, because then you can play all the gods whenever you want, and that's a nice, like, actual gameplay improvement. But skins, you don't have to buy skins. Why do people complain about this so much? League of Legends, also, I'm pretty sure the skins in League of Legends are more expensive on average than in Smite. I know in Smite they have more chest rolls and things like that, but one League of Legends skin can run you back $20, and that's a pretty common occurrence. So they're a lot cheaper in Smite than in League of Legends, so this guy's complaint is completely invalid. And the comment about, like, getting matched with bad players, that happens with everyone, especially if you're newer to the game. Like, you're going to get matched with bad players occasionally. That's not the game's fault, really. I mean, it kind of is, because, like, matchmaking's pretty terrible, but in general, like, you're going to get matched with bad players. You're going to have to deal with that. League of Legends, I'm sure, has a similar issue. All multiplayer games have that issue. No matchmaking system is actually any good. Smite is an addiction and a path you don't want to go down. I love it so much, I hate it. This one's relatable, dude. This one's relatable. There's so many things I dislike about Smite, but the things that I like about it outweigh the things that I don't like about it. And it's basically like an addiction. If you want to play a worse version of Overwatch, here you go. The skill gap in this game is so high. The game devs try and lure you in to play a bunch of bots in your first 30 levels, then throw you into the game with 3 to 5 stacks. It's an absolute blast. Highly not recommend. Overwatch is better. League is way better. Rip Smite 2015. This was posted on the 14th of May. But I guess he played Smite way back in the day in 2015 and thought the game was better back then, even though it definitely wasn't. I mean, it's not a worse version of Overwatch. Overwatch and Smite are completely different games. One is a MOBA, one is a team shooter, like a team hero shooter. They're very different. Other than the fact that they have heroes that have abilities and you fight enemies, that's basically where the similarities overlap. And the game tries to lure you in by playing you a bunch of bots in your first 30 levels. That's not true. You play bots for, I believe it's something like your first 5 levels. Or something like that. It's definitely not all the way up to level 30. You stop playing bots way before level 30. One of the worst matchmaking systems in history. I'm okay with bugs, but the matchmaking is terrible since 2014 and they won't fix it ever. They prefer to make the 100 skin for Neath, but don't care about MM ranked or casuals. I agree that they focus too much on skins, to be completely honest. I can kind of get the sentiment this guy's coming from. He has 3,000 hours, so he clearly cares about the game a lot and wants it to actually improve. This isn't just a complete shitpost review of someone that has 20 hours in the game. And I can see where his concern's coming from. They do make so many skins when there's so many fundamental issues with the game. They've been getting better with that recently. I think that they've been making a lot more core improvements to the game, but they really need to step it up even more than they have done. The fact that they probably have a larger skin team than they have a dev team would be my guess based on the amount of skins they put out. It is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, he complains about the matchmaking. Like, Smite matchmaking is like probably only marginally worse than the average matchmaking system in a game. Matchmaking systems in multiplayer games are all terrible. Like, you can go to CSGO, you can go to League of Legends, you can go to Overwatch, you can go to whatever you want to go to. The matchmaking is going to be terrible in all of those games. Devs need to spend less time making new season passes and overpriced skins and more time making their servers not shit. Buggiest and least stable PvP game I've ever played. 90% of games will see people either crashing or loading in the DC mid-game with the snowball style of gameplay in most teams. Yeah, so once again, he's complaining about, like, they're making too many skins and not fixing the core issues of the game, which I generally agree with, but people take it a little too far. Another one complaining about matchmaking. 3.4 hours and he's calling the game dead. How can you possibly know the game's dead when you played 3.4 hours? That's literally like the tutorial and maybe 5 or 6 games. Like, there's no way you can know the game's dead from that amount of time. I don't understand. If this guy had 1,000 hours and he played a lot back in the day and he thinks it's dead now, that's a pretty valid opinion, but you can't play 3.4 hours of a game and say it's dead. Over 5,000 plus hours on Smite, and even during pre-Steam launch, I can't recommend this game. The game has added more content over the years and a lot of balances, however, matchmaking still plagues the game. Another complaint about matchmaking. After 5 seasons of ranked Smite, the matchmaking has seen slight improvements. The same time it takes for a person to graduate from college, the player base has become worse and toxicity is at its peak. I would disagree with that, to be honest. I think toxicity is definitely not at the peak right now. Toxicity was way worse back in the day. I see a lot of new players, but for some reason they are matched with pros and not newcomers. Smite has become a mixed bag of drugs. You don't know what you'll get, but you'll get some kind of high. Not fun for new people and not fun for people playing seriously, because matchmaking is luck with a side of salt. Yeah, so another complaint about matchmaking. He makes some valid points and he makes some not so valid points, as in like toxicity is at its peak. I highly disagree with that. Back in the day, you could say the N-word all you wanted and almost never get banned for it. You could ban evade all the time. You could just completely go ham on your teammates. You would never get banned for it. It's definitely not as bad as it used to be back in the day, trust me. I played Smite for like 8 years almost at this point. It was way worse back when I played, like, in the early days. Terrible team match design. Should be guild/clan based, not random stuck together in ranked matches. Okay, I think English isn't this guy's first language. I don't really understand what he means by this one. Guild clan based? Does he mean like guild clan based, as in you go in like as a 5-stack? Because I can kind of see where he's coming from with that. You know, he would rather queue into ranks as a 5-stack than as like 2 and 2 and 1 or whatever. But there are issues with that. You know, the player count will be so small. You often wouldn't get a 5-stack matched against a 5-stack in ranked. You would get a 5-stack matched against like a 3 and a 2 or something, and it would be heavily favored towards the 5-stack. I mean, you could adjust matchmaking for that and maybe it could work, I don't know, but I think I kind of don't really understand what this guy's review is for. Pros and cons first, and a few words about the rank system for a Smite novice player. Pros: interesting champions and skills are quite unique in the MOBA genre. Some nice looking skins. Arena, deathmatch, or conquest standard 3-way map mode in non-ranked can be fun from time to time. Yeah, I pretty much agree with all these. The gods could be more interesting in my opinion. I think League has more interesting champions in general. Some nice looking skins. The skins have gotten a lot better recently, to be honest. The skins, as much as I complain that there's too many of them and they put too much focus on them, they are very good. You can tell that they do put a lot of effort into the skins, so I'll agree with that one. And then, I guess this is like, I like that there's multiple game modes, which I do like as well. You know, some people want to play certain things, some people want to play other things. It's like a lot of people say, oh, you should just play Conquest, remove every other game mode, and they'll all go to Conquest. That's not true. Arena's a very different mode to Conquest, and if you removed Arena, maybe 10% of the player base of Arena would go to Conquest, the other 90% would quit, or go to like other game modes. So I don't think that's true. Cons: there's no replay. This is a huge one. I really think we should have this, to be honest. Especially as a content creator, that's really huge for me, but generally just for people like wanting to share their clips or like watch their games back and things like that without having to record them on their own separate software. Being able to replay and like spectate and things like that will be a lot, very useful, especially for me. Voice chat works only in ranked. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no voice chat in casuals, right? No one really uses voice chat anyway, to be honest, in my experience. About 130 hours to get into ranked games. This is interesting. Most people complain that that you have to spend enough time to be able to play in ranked, and that you should have to be like account level 60 or something to be able to play ranked instead of account level 30. But this guy's complaining that you can't go into ranked early enough. Bad servers, bad game. Once again, 18 hours. You can't really judge a game too harshly in 18 hours, to be completely honest with you. Unless like every single, I mean, 18 hours, he's probably played about 20, 30 games, maybe. It depends on what game modes he's playing. We'll say 25 games is like an average. Unless like he DC'd or had DCs in like half those games, you can't really like comment on the servers and then just bad game, sure. I mean, I don't really trust a review of someone that has 18 hours on the game, to be completely honest with you. Feels like an alpha 7 years after release, was in full party, was in the hero selection screen, everyone else was playing, I restarted the game to fix it and rejoin. I get the dessert for 10 minutes so no one in the party can play for 10 minutes because this game is a buggy pile of trash. That's not a bug. If you leave the lobby, it cancels the entire lobby for everyone and you get a dessert. That's just how the game works. That's not a bug. You can argue that it shouldn't be how the game works, but it's not a bug. That's an intended feature. Oh, wait, no, he means he got stuck in the hero selection screen, but everyone else was playing. Okay, yeah, I see. Understandable, to be honest. If you get hit with a bug, like, early on in your experience with the game, it can sour your opinion in the game pretty fast. You know, if you're on the fence about a game and you play a few games and you get bugs in all of them, it's probably going to make you not want to play the game. But yeah, that's some bad Smite reviews on Steam. I don't know, I just thought this would be a pretty funny video. See what people dislike about Smite. See if I agree with any of them. Some I do agree with, a little bit too much of a focus on skins and things like that, but some of them are just a bit ridiculous. You know, they're complaints from people with 5 hours in the game saying that the entire game is trash and buggy. You can't really decide that. And just generally a lot of complaints about matchmaking, which some are valid and some go a little too far. But yeah, matchmaking, I would say, is the primary concern among a lot of these reviews, but it's also one of the hardest things to like fix. Like, getting good matchmaking is incredibly difficult, and honestly, no game has good matchmaking, or no game has great matchmaking. So some have decent matchmaking, but it's one of the hardest things to get right in a multiplayer game, to be honest, because there's so many different factors that go into it, especially in a team-based game like Smite. You know, you have like individual MMRs, you have the team's MMR, you have, are people communicating in like 2 stacks and 3 stacks and things like that? Is there a 5 stack on one of the teams? Are people playing their primary gods and primary roles? You know, someone could be really good at the game, way better than the other people in the game, but if they're in an off role playing a god they don't know, they're going to perform worse than those people, even though they have higher MMR by matchmaking standards. So there's just a lot of things to take into account, and it's very hard, if not impossible, to get a properly balanced game from matchmaking. You've just got to get as close as you can get. And I guess people in Smite think we're not there yet, so understandable. But yeah, let me know if you want me to do another one of these. There's plenty of negative Smite reviews. I could probably read more of them, maybe from like back in the day or something like that. See what was up with the game back in season 2 or whatever. Back when I was like new to the game, season 1, open beta, that kind of stuff. And yeah, let me know if you want to see that, and drop a like on the video if you're still here. I'm sure you enjoyed it if you watched all the way to the end, so I would appreciate it for the algorithm boost. And I will catch you guys later. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.